I think our district is approaching AI and especially ChatGPT with a very open mind. And I think that kids are going to use technology whether or not it's sanctioned by the district. And I think that we have to be aware of what they have access to and what they're already using. So my approach so far has been that what is it? We learn about it, we practice it. We just did an administrative retreat. And every break that we took to bring people back in, I showed another little aspect of, for example, ChatGPT. I had all my administrators make an account. We did a lot of different examples on working on prompts because prompts are key, right, with the AI.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jocelyn McDonald, Director of Digital Learning in Bastrop ISD, located in Bastrop, Texas, a small town that sits right outside of Austin, the capital of Texas, and we serve nearly 13,000 students across 17 schools.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Burhansel, proud superintendent of Harrison School District 2 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We serve 13,000 students across 22 schools.
Hi, I'm Lori Villanueva, Superintendent of Calinga-Huron Unified School District. We are in rural Fresno County, California, and we have 4,500 students, over 10 schools, 2 cities, and 3 counties.
How is your school district approaching AI tools like ChatGPT?
You know, like you said, like many other school districts, we're starting to explore various applications like AI technology to kind of help support with education. I recently did a session with our leaders on innovative ways to embrace technology into their leadership practices, and ChatGPT was actually one of our focus points. And it really was amazing to kind of see their eyes light up on the capabilities that they saw even for themselves as leaders. And so I kind of think of like Stephen Covey always comes to mind, seek first to understand. So one of those things is that we need to understand what it can do. And I know that it's so easy for us to say, shut it down. And we've had teacher requests, hey, this student is using ChatGPT and can we turn it off? And it's also a matter of like this turning off really support our students in growing and being good digital citizenship and good citizens of different technologies, or can we educate them for best practices? And so right now we're continuing to, educate our staff on emerging technologies and try to model best practices. And then also I'm hoping to, in the future, create opportunities more for our teachers to then have those conversations within the classes with students to really talk about the ethical use of ChatGPT and then also the biases and the information that it presents out.
So personally, I love ChatGPT. Like I'm an advocate for it because it's happening. So I think if we turn a blind eye and just say we're not going to do it, kids and teachers are still doing it. And so for us, we're positively embracing it. We know research tells us 60% of high school students used ChatGPT last year. Whether their teachers knew they did or not might be different, but they were using it. Currently, we're putting together a focus group that includes students, parents, and staff to look at how do we want to go forward with ChatGPT, but it will not be blocking. It will be more about educating when to use, how to use, what are the resources out there, and how do we ensure students know everything they need to do, not to have to rely on ChatGPT, but when best to use it to meet their success of whatever they're doing.
I think our district is approaching AI and especially ChatGPT with a very open mind. And I think that kids are going to use technology whether or not it's sanctioned by the district. And I think that we have to be aware of what they have access to and what they're already using. So my approach so far has been that what is it? We learn about it, we practice it. We just did an administrative retreat. And every break that we took to bring people back in, I showed another little aspect of, for example, ChatGPT. I had all my administrators make an account. We did a lot of different examples on working on prompts because prompts are key, right, with the AI. So we did everything from write me a 5-day keto, menu plan and give me a shopping list to write a letter to the superintendent convincing her that I need a new marquee. Just teaching them the different prompts that were available. And when I showed them the quality of lesson plans they could get, when I showed them that you can take a reading, a piece of text, and change that for students who may not be reading at that level, and to just create so many useful documents for the day-to-day work in a very short amount of time. They got excited. And I think that creating excitement around it and figuring out how to use it so that kids are learning, right? Kids are going to write essays with it. Where can we take that forward to teach them something about the internet? ChatGPT admits that they are not necessarily factually perfect on everything they write. How do you teach kids to verify that information? How do you ask GPT to, you're Florence Nightingale, let me interview you, and then go back and do some validation? And I think teaching kids to validate what they find on the internet and how they use the internet, that's key. And so I'm actually, really excited. I'm trying to keep everybody's mind open. I sent out a course to all of our staff members that they could take to learn about ChatGPT. And again, it's here, and I don't think we can block it. I think we have to find a way to use it to our advantage to help kids learn.
Now, are there any positive use cases that you've heard of from students or teachers around ChatGPT?
I have been really amazed at some of the excitement that has come around ChatGPT. Of course, the students are finding all type of ways to use it to support them, but I think I've been really impressed with how some of our leaders who are still kind of in the adopting phase of leveraging technology have started using it themselves. And so we have some start creating mock assessments. I've started to see principals use it to write newsletters. Even our IT team, they started leveraging it to help with generating coding scripts. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the things that showcase, especially as we're starting to be more transparent and have those conversations. Before it was kind of under the radar, it was like that thing that was happening, but we didn't necessarily start addressing. And so now that it's kind of in the forefront, we're starting to have more conversations about it. I'm looking forward to seeing some more exciting positive cases in the future.
So, some positive experiences. One example is a refugee student who doesn't have good English mannerisms, was writing an essay for a college entry essay. Has a great story, but some of the English mechanics get in her way of being successful in a typical essay. So she was able to use ChatGPT and create the essay with her information she put in. It's personal, but they scripted it into the English format, and that was able to be used for a college entrance essay. Now, she acknowledged it with the college, but they were so impressed that she was able to tell her story and go back and edit it, because ChatGPT doesn't do the personalization. You have to add those pieces in. But she was able to put her experiences and reflect on how it really impacted her life. Another example is our principals are currently using it for interview questions and for reference letters. And so principals have a lot on their plate. They write reference letters all the time, but you can put a little blurb in, it can shoot out a reference letter, you edit it, make sure it's accurate, what you need. But it's really allowed our folks to turn projects around and focus back on instruction. And so I think using it in a smart way, not all the time, but understanding where it makes sense to supplement with ChatGPT really helps us be more efficient in our work.
I do absolutely have some positive stories. One is a principal was getting ready to share some data with her staff, and she was able to upload that data, tell ChatGPT what she wanted, and it created information for her that she could then put right into slides. So she could spend the time on preparing how she was going to discuss that information and the activities around the information, instead of having to generate all the work that goes into analyzing that data. And so it saved her a lot of time. And I think if we can buy some people time, teachers time, administrators time, that's going to be very helpful to them. And I don't have anything for students quite yet, because we really had this big push, I'd say like late in the spring, and we were kind of already into testing. But next week, when all of my staff is back for our big district welcome back, I'm actually going to do a section on ChatGPT and really talk about how it can be used positively.
Such great examples. Okay, with regards to AI tools like ChatGPT, are you changing any of your techniques for grading students and the types of assignments being used in the classroom?
We currently don't have anything that we're changing specifically in our guidelines, but whether it was ChatGPT or not, I think it's really important to know that we live in a digital, information-rich society that our students are growing up in, and that we have to adapt our instructional practices, support our students, and better ways to think critically and check for understanding and how we assess learning. It's not the same that it was when I was in school where we could work on memorizing a passage and that was perceived as I learned something. Now we can leverage these different technology tools to really dive deep and see if our students have a better understanding. And so I think just with best practices around instruction in general is going to help support that process. But definitely having the conversations and keep in mind a mindset of that we do have resources that students can easily come, but how do we teach them to be critical thinkers and positive users of those resources as well?
We are not changing our techniques. I know there are filters that can measure for ChatGPT, but I know there's research saying if we're effective or not. What we are doing is the two main things is ChatGPT does not have accurate references all the time. So if we require references, we're checking references to make sure they're real. And the second thing is ChatGPT does not have the personal connection. So if we're doing assignments, we're asking for that reflection piece or that personal connection piece because that can't be generated by ChatGPT. And so those are kind of our checks. So we are not discouraging ChatGPT for our students. We want to learn more about it and understand how they know about it, what they use it for, but we want to encourage it in the appropriate manner and learn all together.
The idea of have we changed anything about grading students based on ChatGPT? We're not there yet because the biggest worry that's come up so far is how do we know if kids are cheating using ChatGPT and how do we deal with that? So we've always had some, document filters that we can check and see if kids are, basically stealing other people's work and turning that in. But if ChatGPT writes you something, how do you know it was ChatGPT? And we kind of solved that by saying we'll plug it back into ChatGPT and ask it who wrote it. I mean, that's a simple one. But I think, like I say, we haven't gotten to those great conversations around grading yet. That's going to be definitely more dialogue as this year comes in.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.